You want to get a guaranteed sell in Star Wars toys, put something on a Speederbike, and you're guaranteed to get a buy. Hey toy fans, so I'm here with another awesome review. I'm going back and looking at some old Star Wars stuff. So I found this actually happened to be on sale on Amazon right now, so it's worth the look if you're finding it. But I figured I would get one, break it down, and see if it's worth the few bucks it was worth. So this is old stock too, so don't make fun of me. But you know, eventually I gotta review some of these anyways. So this actually came from The Force Awakens. So this was all the way back in, let's see, 2015, I believe. I guess so. Yeah, this is the Elite Speederbike with, of course, the Elite Stormtrooper. And I came across this. I was like, dude, this I gotta check this out. I mean, I had missed when they were putting all the Force Awakens toys out with Toys R Us the opening day. I missed on all those, and I just happened to see this. I was like, I didn't even know they had put out a Speederbike in this series. So I was like, you know what? I love Speederbikes. I've got several hanging up. I've got Enfys Nest and a Swoop bike, and oh goodness, Dirge on his bike from the Tartakovsky Clone Wars cartoon. So, you know, I figured this will probably also go up there with them. So, before I get in there review, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. If you're liking the content, which I hope you do, because you're sticking around for this part, make sure to like the video, comment down below. I love commenting back with you all. And then, of course, hit that bell for notifications so that way you can be updated on anything that I put out. So what do you say? Let's get into it. Alright, and this is the Star Wars The Force Awakens Elite Speederbike with the Stormtrooper. And I have to admit, package art out of this looks really good. I enjoyed what they were doing with the Force Awakens toys as far as how they looked. With this one, it has an image of the Speedertrooper here on the bike. You get a window with the Speedertrooper there and a weapon, so you can obviously see it's part of a collection. And then you get that nice Kylo Ren reference up there with some nice kind of ongoing images of blaster bolts and speeding force background. We do know that this was acquired by Disney, so we get that Disney and Hasbro logo there at the top now, which was kind of new for a lot of the Star Wars stuff we're getting at this point. Age 4+, so that's our suggested age because of small parts, including that little blaster. And then we obviously know this is Star Wars. Nice, big, bright, bold, beautifully idolized. This is Star Wars no matter what, and they make it very apparent. Going to the side, we get that nice kind of image of the trooper there with his pistol out, again referencing Star Wars. And then going to the back, we see that, of course, we got our Star Wars logo here, and then we get the actual pictures of the toy itself. Now, the Stormtrooper we saw over in the window, so we've already know what he looks like. But now we're getting to see this bike in all of its glory, and it looks a lot like the speeder bikes we've had before with the Power of the Force 2 line, even the vintage Kenner. Except this time we're getting some added accoutrements on there that make it stand out and make it feel a little bit more modern than what we've had before. We get a little bit of cross-sell art down here, and it's not really cross-sell art as much as it is like these are things that are available, but here's Chewbacca and then one figure kind of picture to show what they look like. Kylo Ren and then some sort of assault walker. Over here we get, of course, a Speederbike on the bike so we can see what he looks like there. We get a play feature here with the cannons moving up and down, and then the top of this opening up and down so we can see the engine as well. So a couple play features added in. And up here it says, reserved for the most experienced scouts and high-risk missions. These elite speeder bikes have been upgraded with heavy blasters and powerful new engines. So even though it's kind of from old stuff, this is new first order speeder bikes. Can't wait to check this one out. Now that's the box, and the box isn't going to tell us anything else about this. We need to get this one out and get to playing. Okay, straight out of the packaging, and this is what we get. Of course, we get the body portion of the speeder with that lifting piece. We get the front nacelle pieces, or the guiding vanes, the very front of the Speederbike. We get our trooper, and we get a pistol. Now, there wasn't any instructions or anything within this box, so there wasn't really anything talking about how to put it together. But to put it together is fairly self-explanatory. Let me show you. So with the Speederbike, and we'll look at this unit right here, we have, of course, our body portion of the Speederbike. Now, everything is pretty much assembled except for the vanes, the actual driving vanes, and the body. You get this one piece here that actually adjusts, and that's the foot throttle, so we can adjust that to see we need to get the person moving. And then we've got these back flaps that are also supposed to be adjustable, and these actually help, I think, the thing raise and lower depending on where it is. Before, with the old Kenner one, you'd push on the foot pedals and it would cause these to move in the back. Now they've got it all settled. There's a little clip here, and I don't know, like, if that's for something specific. Maybe we can add that onto something. I'd have to look into the line a little bit further to see what they have. You get this nice kind of painted and sculpted satchel down, which all the bikes had that back in the day. And we push that back down, and yeah, the detail on it is really, really nice. Now, oh wow, even this, so even the controls, look, as you move the controls, these turn into space and allow you for these handles to move. Okay, so in order to make this work, we'd lift this. The vanes here with that part are going to snap into place there. Okay, oops, there we go. Let's turn that back around, and then that part snaps down, and your Speederbike is done. Let's take a look at the Speederbike. We obviously know that we've got moving ailerons in the back, basically to help it move up and down, or to just cover that engine part. They do feel a little stiff on mine, so when you're starting to work on like moving these, I'd be a little careful, because I could see bending these pretty easily and causing some problems down the road. We do have these moving foot pedals. Again, same thing, just be a little bit careful with them. And then these moving handles up here as well. Now, after that, we do have our traditional blaster. And if you look on mine, I already have a little bit of a white mark there that shows me that this kind of got bent a little bit whenever I was moving around. This thing gets stuck on these. So I think traditionally you could spin it all the way around. This one, not so much. It's going to be just kind of off to the side like this. And it gets stuck and it kind of bends and starts to break. So I might have to keep an eye on that. After that, one other thing is you do have this cannon that lifts up and down, and it can go all the way down like this, I guess, support the bike. It's kind of cool. Or lift it all the way up so it can fire at things, which is also pretty cool. And let's take a look at our guy. Much like the Force Awakens toys, it doesn't have like a ton of articulation, though it has more than what the original toys came with. So it has that ball jointed head, which was a nice addition to a lot of these toys. Pretty good range. We got those pivot arms. No wrist articulation, so just the pivot arms, no elbow articulation, that's it. We get the pivot thighs, and they are blocked a little bit by this belt here, so that's something to keep in mind. It only goes about that far. And then you've got the ball hinged knees, so they turn all the way around and they're hinged, but even they only go so far. The weapon, which is actually their sidearm pistol, fits nicely in the hand. But one of the things I like about what they did with this line is that they also had it where you could plug in the pistol to their armor, which is how they wear it in the movie. Which It's pretty cool. Even though this guy never made the cut to the movie, you know, the armor is the same as what we see on screen. It's just black and red. Now to get him on his bike, you're going to peg his feet in. So put his feet into the harness there. And we'll bring his hands up and snap them onto controls. If we can. Not quite as easy with the hand grips as they are. There we go. That's a little bit easier. Let's see if we can open up this hand a little bit. The hands are a little bit pliable, so it allows you to kind of force a little bit over that handle. Okay. You know, in order to get them seated exactly where you want it, it's going to take a little bit of work. And every time he keeps trying to pull that engine up, you kind of have to push it back down. Yeah. Pretty cool. It's got some issues, as most of the Force Awakens toys do, though I have to admit, I really dig the look of this bike. It's a nice update than what we've had before. I like being able to see the engine. I like how it opens up and still keeps the console in place, but then opens up the second part of the console. I like that they didn't cheap out on the ailerons in the back, allowing for those to be manipulated and move up and down, because that's such an iconic piece of the motorcycle, or I'm sorry, Speederbike, that we'd want to keep it in there. The footrests are okay, though I have to admit, I kind of wish I had a little bit more movement in his legs in order to fit him to his foot pedals in a better way. I like how they handled the actual handles for the controls itself. It really feels like they put a lot of thought into how those were going to move, and still look like they were attached to the body of this and has some resistance, so it played the part of being a very dynamic looking Speederbike. The Trooper himself, I think, is pretty cool. It's got areas where it's got a nice gloss to a lot of the black armor, and then a little bit of dullness to the overall plastic, like the under suit that he has on. However, for the most part, he just kind of has a certain just shiny satin about him, and not a lot of play with the actual tones of the plastic itself. The red lines going across the body are a nice update. I really dig the way they look. I do, though, wish there was a little bit more articulation within the legs, and I like that they have the pistol over on the side of the leg, and I think out of all the legs, that's a nice addition, even though the knees and the actual thighs don't have as much pivot as I want. At least we got a holstered weapon. I do like the small details of the blaster on the bike, and even the updated vanes, maneuvering vanes on there. I think it's a really cool piece, and it's one of those that I think, you know, finding at about $10 to $15, not bad price. I don't know if I'd really want to pay any more than that, but I'm also fairly cheap, and, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, be as into getting all these pieces as others, because even though I like Star Wars, it's not like my main thing. Now, this Speederbike is available out there on market. You can find it. I happen to find mine on Amazon for fairly cheap right now. So if you're on the toy hunt looking for it, good luck with the toy hunt. This episode of Tay Gun was sponsored by Marvin Dog Media. To learn more about Marvin Dog Media, visit www.marvindogmedia.com. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below to let YouTube know that you like what I'm making. And be sure to hit that bell notification so you get updates to future content.